I think Microsoft can sometimes do smart things, and then they sometimes do kind of idiotic things. And I think it's all kind of led by, what people in higher up positions want done rather than what gamers want done. And that's just a really unfortunate thing, in my opinion, because, gamers want one thing, and it seems like they never get the thing that they want, right? It's like always this kind of runaround. I've noticed that a tremendous a lot, right? So gamers love the KOTOR series, right? Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2. Been asking for a third one forever. Nope. Instead, they make like an online MMO or whatever. Like gamers didn't want that. Gamers wanted another Dragon Age. Look how long it's taken to get that, or a legit Mass Effect game, or another Fable, and it's taken a decade. Like, we never get the things that we actually want. It's so sad, and then they wonder why the gaming industry is having like all of these problems and things. It's just it's interesting, but it's just such a weird situation, because it's like they have what people want, and again, it's one of those things that sort of happens, and people won't really kind of talk about it. It's just like, hey, if they just listened to the fans, things would be in such a much better place. If just listen to this, right? If you don't believe me, just go back to the PS4, Xbox One era. Nobody was asking for what Microsoft was trying to do with the Xbox One. Nobody. Now look at the PS4. They were doing what people wanted. And then the PS4 absolutely mopped the floor with Xbox. Because they listened, right? It's like, I don't understand why there's such a discourse in those two things. But, this video is more in particular about something that happened with Sony president Jim Ryan, who is on his way out, obviously. But he's actually kind of, looks like he hoodwinked Microsoft a little bit, or there's a situation where they get some things that previously we didn't know about, and it just makes Microsoft look stupid. Again, it's just one of those things that I think us fans are going to have to deal with, is that Microsoft looks stupid because they seemingly are. I don't know a better way to put it. They could be paying off this year with great exclusive games, and going into a year when Sony has like no first party games, and a year where Sony has on record canceled at least 6 games that we know about. And before you get into it, what games did Sony cancel? Well, they canceled the Factions game, they canceled the Pixel Opus game, they canceled the Twisted Metal game, the Deviation Games game, the London Studios game, and they canceled another game as well. I just, off the top of my head, I forget which one it is. But yeah, and they've closed multiple studios now. So, they canceled the Spider-Man online game. So that's 6 games, right, that we know about. And yet people, like, this would have been the perfect time for Microsoft to really go out there and showcase, hey, we're Xbox, we've got exclusives, we got power, we've got this, we've got that. But instead, we're seeing stuff like this come up, which is Jim Ryan talking about, how they hoodwinked Xbox. So the latter part of 2022 and early months of 2023 were filled with talk about Call of Duty and whether PlayStation would eventually agree to Xbox's deal that would guarantee the IP on PlayStation's console for the next 10 years, which is funny because we now know that behind the scenes, while Jim Ryan was complaining about not being able to trust Microsoft with PlayStation dev kits, they were trusting Microsoft with PlayStation dev kits to port over, Grounded, Sea of Thieves, Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment. So yeah, anyway, it took ages to be concluded, with PlayStation boss Jim Ryan indicating his fears about Microsoft owning the franchise on multiple occasions, and Microsoft getting visibly frustrated at Sony's unwillingness to sign a contract. Yeah, their visible frustration at that by giving them their games. Interesting. Then in July of 2023, Sony finally confirmed an agreement for Call of Duty to remain on PlayStation for 10 years. In an interview with CNBC this week, Ryan was asked why his team decided to change their minds after all that time. And he said, and I quote, "You know what? We're at risk of getting very granular here, but there are deals, and the deal that was offered at a certain point, at in time may not have been the deal that was actually signed. So whatever the new terms of the deal ended up being, Jim Ryan was clearly very pleased that the agreement was finally made, telling CNBC that Sony are absolutely thrilled to partner with Microsoft in securing Call of Duty on PlayStation for the foreseeable future, saying, and I quote, "We were absolutely thrilled to be able to negotiate a deal with Microsoft to ensure that that franchise remains on PlayStation platforms for at least the next 10 years. And that was very important to us, and we're really happy to have done that deal." So clearly things needed to be ironed out from Sony's perspective, but everything seems to be in place now for Call of Duty franchises over the next decade at least. Don't forget that it's apparently coming to Nintendo consoles as well. In other related news, this might be the last time we hear from Jim Ryan in his current role, as the PlayStation leader is stepping away from Sony after 28 years at the company later this month, probably for a well-deserved rest, because, hey, guess what? You know, all that time of kicking Microsoft's ass, you know, probably wears on you a bit. So, yeah, we do have that situation sort of kind of to deal with. But, you know, listen, nobody knows. There was some sayings that he had wanted all Bethesda and all Activision games on PlayStation. So, you know, who really knows at this particular point what's going on with that, or if that's actually something that kind of happened, you know. So, you know, again, PlayStation wanted ZeniMax with that. I'm not sure if that's something that they actually did, but he signed a deal, and so not that it really mattered, since they were actually one of those things where a situation where they are going to end up putting, it looks like, most of things on PlayStation regardless. So I think that's really kind of a really crummy situation for Microsoft to be in, because, you know, you have this platform that you're trying to sell, and I'm sure maybe they wish they didn't, I guess. I don't know. Like, I think there's various kind of minds to the subject, but, you know, really, honestly, it's just one of those things that kind of happens. And, you know, gaming, we realize is changing a bit, but I don't think it's changing as much as some people try to make it out to be. And, you know, it's unfortunate when that happens, because everybody tries to do like the doom and gloom thing and things like that. And, you know, it just, to me, doesn't make a whole lot of sense for that to be the case. So, you know, we'll see what happens in the future. I do wonder what, if anything, was changed from the deal originally. You know, we'll see. You know, it doesn't look like that there was a whole lot kind of changed. But, you know, again, I'm not there. I wasn't in the room. I'm not a lawyer, so we'll see, you know. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm Crap Gamer, sort of disappointed or whatever. I appreciate you guys. If you do enjoy the content, this is Crap Gamer Reviews. Please like the video, share it out, maybe even consider subscribing, as that helps out tremendously as well. Rack 'em up. Crap Gamer, out.